such a great hockey city here, and I'm really happy for the fans of the Blues and the fans of St. Louis, period. This one's an easy part.
Yeah, I know.
This is like being an actor.
We ready?
Yeah, we're rolling.
He's busy.
Let's go, Caruso. I got to come back and coach.
Please tell me you're on the bench tonight.
I'm not on the bench.
That'd be great.
Might be humorous for you guys. I wouldn't be laughing, though.
Let's start with when you joined the Blues family. Can you take us back to when you got that phone call from Army and joined the team November 6, 2011?
I was playing ball hockey, of all things. There's a ball hockey rink in Columbus, and I was playing, and right after the game was over, we had a 7 o'clock in the morning game, and right after the game was over, I got a call from Doug, and he just started talking hockey, and I hadn't talked to Doug in a long time. And we talked for maybe half an hour, and it was on the drive back to the condo that I was living in. And I got out of the car, and as I was going to take the elevator up to my suite, I kept thinking, I think I just did a job interview. I'm not sure, but I think I just did a job interview. And that was at 9 o'clock in the morning. And he called again at noon, and he said, do you want to coach? I said, sure, I'd love to. He said, good, then get in the car and get driving. So at 2:30 in the afternoon, I'd packed as many suitcases as I could, just started driving from Columbus to St. Louis, and during that drive is when I talked to a lot of the players that were here. But it was Doug that made the call, and then we made a deal on the drive coming down to St. Louis. It was easy. Well, not only did we work in Dallas together, Doug was my boss when I was in Kalamazoo with the farm club for Dallas. So we had been together for 10 years already, and we knew each other really well, and I knew what he wanted, and I knew what he wanted the team to look like, and so I knew that we could work together in a really good fashion. And so for me, when he called, it was a no-brainer. I knew a couple of people, but not that well, and I had to learn to build relationships really quickly. But I had done that in Philadelphia, so I had something, I was used to doing that, and I felt comfortable doing that. So I actually spent most of that 5 or 6 hour drive on the phone with the captain, David Backus, and get a feel for the team and where he thought the team was mentally and physically. And then I just started calling all the leaders. At that time, Andy McDonald, Alex Steen, guys like that. And then we started to communicate on what they thought was needed and what needed to change quickly if we were going to get back in the hunt.
Remember what specifically or anything that you changed or surprised that they bought in that quick?
Yeah, one thing, checking. We bought into checking. Everybody calls it defense, which is not true. We bought into checking. So our puck management became really good. Our checking mindset we were tenacious, we were hard on the puck. And the feeling on the bench was if we had a 1-goal lead halfway through the hockey game, the opposition was in real trouble because we were comfortable playing in close games. We were comfortable playing with the game tied or us leading by a goal. And our team changed its mindset. We really valued the things that mattered as far as checking goes, and it gave us an opportunity to become good really, really quick. Like we won a lot of games as soon as I got here, and the buy-in was, for me, instant. And it took maybe 2 practices, and our guys were really sold on the way to play. David was the guy that did it willingly and embraced it all the time. He was a great salesman for what I was selling. And you can't say anything that's better about a player when you have a player that's that bought in, that's committed. I really appreciated it. He did a lot of the dirty work that a coach needs done with his leadership group and his captaincy. He did a lot of the dirty work inside the locker room, on the ice, during practices. He did a lot of that work that we needed, that was necessary for us to build really good teams. But I really liked our disposition. I really liked the way that the players were selling each other, and I was doing less and less coaching and more guiding. And the players were, and the leaders were really taking control of the hockey club. And I really liked that. I thought we were a team and going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next number of years, to be honest with you.
And the winner of the 2012 Jack Adams Award is Ken Hitchcock.
Appreciate it very much. To the players and the buy-in and what was being sold, led by you, David, I really appreciate what you guys did, and I think everybody in St. Louis is really excited to get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the 2012 William M. Jennings Trophy from the St. Louis Blues, Brian Elliott and Yaroslav Halak.
Well, when you win the Jennings, that's a buy-in by the players from the coach's message. That's what that is. They've had to buy in a very deep manner, and that's the part that I really embraced and enjoyed the most, was when you have the best goals against average in the league, you've got one of the best save percentages in the league, you're doing a lot of things right. And I thought that's why we were really building a strong framework that we could really build on for the next few years. So we were starting to become very stiff to play against. We maybe didn't have the lightning bolts as far as scoring goes, but we were really hard to play against. And I thought that was a disposition that could carry us for a long time. And I liked the way we competed. I know we struggled to finish, not get chances. We had a lot of times that we outplayed and outshot the opposition, but I liked the way that we competed for each other, and we were really starting to develop an accountability inside the locker room without the coach doing much of the work.
The Ryan Miller watch is now officially over. Ryan Miller is now a member of the St. Louis Blues. Ryan Miller and Steve Ott have gone to the St. Louis Blues. In exchange, Jaro Halak, who has becoming an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, is going back to the Buffalo Sabres. Chris Stewart with some scoring, and William Carriere, a prospect. Pierre, you had been saying that you thought the ultimate destination was going to be St. Louis for Ryan Miller.
And you know, it may have
when I was in Dallas, I had Ed Belfour, and I knew what it was like to have a dominant goalie. And that's why we traded for Ryan. We thought that it was the guy that could compete against Crawford and Quick. And we knew that those guys were giving their teams a chance every night, whether they were being outplayed or not. And we knew how hard it was going to be getting by those teams. So we felt that we needed an edge, and we thought Ryan could supply us with that edge. And we felt that our team play and our team game was as good as anybody's. But those two franchises, Chicago and Los Angeles, they had players that could steal games, especially in net, and we needed to match that. We had a good team, but we underperformed in the playoffs. We didn't play well against Minnesota. We looked like a team that had some distractions going on, and we looked like we were starting to lose our belief system in each other, and I thought we played, to be honest with you, I thought we played flat against Minnesota. I don't think we played near as well as we played during the year. I thought we had exceptional periods of time during the year that year, but we did not play well against Minnesota in that series. And that's the first time that I can honestly say any of the teams that I coached up till then hadn't performed at the highest level when it mattered the most.
My expectations are always the same. It's just to do as good as I can, within myself. I can't control. There's a lot of things you can't control in hockey, and the only thing you can control is how you prepare yourself and the effort that you put in out there. And that's the way I've been playing all my career, and it won't change because of the situation.
His voice meant the world because he had done it, and his voice inside the locker room was really helpful for us as a team, and especially for us as coaches. He would bring up subjects that I would have never thought of, none of the players would have thought of, and they were really, really helpful. So as much as he came in and gave us some good quality starts, his disposition and his attitude on the bench and during practices and within the team was really valuable.
So would you say Marty was somewhat of an extension of the coaching staff?
He was. He was a guy that both the players and the coaches had full trust in, and we could go to him for any information we needed.
So that 15-16 season, we go into the playoffs, finally get by Chicago, beating them in 7 games. Everything that they had going for them, their cups, your buddy Joel Quenneville, that must have been a gratifying final win against that team.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? The other side of things for me was, as well as we played against Chicago in that series, we played even better against Los Angeles. The Los Angeles series was the best I've seen a team play of all my time in St. Louis. That team played the best of any of them, and we didn't win. And it was a good lesson in life for me because I'd seen it with Ed Belfour when I was in Dallas. He won us series. I thought Quick was the difference, and he won them series that they didn't deserve to win because I thought that our team game and our play was much better than Los Angeles, and we were on top of everything. Every part of our game was clicking at that time, but we couldn't beat the goalie.
We move on to round 2, beat Dallas, Game 7, move on to the Western Conference Finals. Was it just another opponent, or did that feel special to beat Dallas?
It felt special, and it felt like, I have so much respect for the people that were in that franchise and ran it. I have nothing but admiration for them, but, competition is competition, and when you get a chance to beat somebody that you coached before, you got to try to do it, and that was a very wild series with wild swings in momentum, wild swings of emotion, some unbelievable games where it looked like it could be 10-8, and then some of these games that went into overtime and everything like that, that they were really wild, emotional games that you never knew really what was going to happen from shift to shift. I felt like we had now spent almost 2 years really developing a framework for our team game, and I got to tell you, like, San Jose played really well. Like, they played really well against us, and one thing we didn't have going for us was we didn't play that well on the road at times, and that kind of came back to haunt us a little bit. And I just felt like there was 2 really good veteran teams going at each other, and San Jose had their big guns firing on all cylinders.
It is over. San Jose, Western Conference champions. And David Backes, pending unrestricted free agent. You're not sure what his future holds in St. Louis. Had a tremendous playoff.
It's tough to swallow, but you know that the heart's in here and the ability's in there. We just come up short.
He was a guy that had made a home here, and he was a guy that knew that there's a chance. Free agency is free agency for both sides, and he knew that might happen. When you put that type of effort into things, it's very emotional, and he was a guy that held it together and bottled it up at times, but when it came out, it came out. I saw it in the locker room, I saw it on the ice, I saw it in meetings, and he was really wondering where his career was going to go.
I think maybe the emotion on him, because you know this is probably the end, but I don't know if he thought this, but Hitch, would you think this team was your best team to take a run at the cup?
I don't know about being the best, Mike, because we had so many good runs, and so we played, like, I based it on potential, and we had so many times that all you can ask is that the players play to their potential, and we had so many series where we didn't win, but we played as well as we could play, and you couldn't fault the effort of the players. I felt that this was just another opportunity, but it also reminded me of how tough it is to win the Stanley Cup, or how tough it is to get into the finals. And we'd knocked on the door a few times and couldn't get it open, and now you're wondering as a coach, what's going to happen to my team? Is it going to, if the captain's leaving, is it going to get blown up and stuff like that? Now you're starting to worry about what type of team you're going to have. what my coaching tenure did in St. Louis was remind me of how hard it is to win the Stanley Cup. Every day I think about it, I think we were close in a lot of times, and we were an overtime goal, a late goal away from going on to the next round, and we didn't get it done. But we were, when you're looking at championship teams, did they play to their potential? This group did for a long time. Did they play together as a team? This group really did that. Did they play for each other? That's what they maxed out. They played for each other like crazy. And sometimes you can't control what the opposition have because they got good players too. And they've got a committed group too. We played in a conference and a division that had a lot of committed teams, a lot of veteran hockey clubs that knew how to win. And you look at the names on the list of the teams that you coached against and those players, there's a lot of very good players that played in the West. And I look at it as saying, we were in this hunt every year, year after year after year, and that's something I'm really, really proud of.
Well, thank you everyone for coming on such short notice. Obviously, it's a very difficult day for myself. Made a hard decision. We decided to change coaches. Mike will take over. I'm excited about that. It's a great day for Mike. A rebirth now for this group of players. This is not a demeaning thing on Hitch. I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's one of my best friends, and but change happens in sports.
What I was proudest of was I thought that this was a wonderful organization, and I meant from the people that worked here to the people that were season ticket holders to fans to the media. I thought this was a great organization, and it deserved, and it was star-crossed at that time. It deserved a better fate because, quite frankly, when I coached against them when I was in Dallas, they were just as good as we were. And you're wondering, is this franchise ever going to win a cup? And I just think for the franchise in general, you can't help but be really proud of them and really happy for them for what they accomplished.
Okay, I have to ask you, the 2018-19 team that gets off to a horrible start, Chief takes over and we make that incredible run. You coached Chief and actually had him on part of your staff in Philly. Did you see this part of him in the making of being a head coach?
Where I saw Craig potential, I didn't see him coach much in Philadelphia, but I watched him in the East Coast Hockey League with Trenton. And I saw potential when I saw that because I went and worked with him during the lockout and stuff like that. And I saw some of the things that he could do there, and I saw what he could do at the American League level, and I thought he has a real chance. And I always felt like Craig would be a heck of a coach with a veteran hockey club. And what the Blues had was a veteran team that was underperforming. And I knew if Craig got behind the bench of a team like that he could turn it around quickly. They went through some difficult times, and they reached a stage where they bottomed out. And I know that stage was because in one of those stages they were playing in Edmonton and Vancouver, and it was really close on what they were going to do with their season. They won both those games, and that turned everything around, and then they started on their roll. And I knew Craig could handle a veteran team in a very, very positive manner, and I knew he would be a good coach for this group. And I was really, really happy for him and Doug and everybody else connected with the group that they won the cup because we tried so hard for so many years to try to get it. Yeah, and I've had it happen on both ends. Somebody laid the groundwork for me in Dallas. Like somebody did all the dirty work so I could get a really good team in 1996, 97. And, they deserve a lot of credit for what we won in 99. And the same thing in Philadelphia. We went to the conference finals 2 years in a row in Philadelphia, but guys like Bill Barber did all the legwork before. He took all the guff and everything like that before, so I could get some of the accolades. So it works both ways. I've coached in centers that are really good knowledge of sport, but the combination that St. Louis offers is the knowledge of hockey and the knowledge of sport, to me, meshes in St. Louis. They not only understand the sport of hockey, they understand the nuances of the game, and I found that very unique. And I thought that was really special for me because I could go anywhere in this city and talk hockey and feel like I was talking with someone on equal footing. And I thought that was a special place. And I thought that this city comes across as so genuine and so sincere that you can't help but cheer for it. And that's why I felt so good when they won the Cup.